All right, so let's go ahead and get you started. Um, Super excited that you all are here tonight. I'm April Wagner, and I'm just going to be your host, Bobby and I. And we have Kellie Lupsha, and I'm going to bring up these slides because I've got a beautiful slide on her. Okay, start. Okay, all right. So this is a picture of all of Kellie. Such a beautiful person. You saw a little bit of her husband, Arthur, who is a physician, is a doctor as well. But she's a mom of four adult kids, a true entrepreneur. You know, we are just so blessed to hear her. She is one of my faves. You can kind of read some of this, Masters in Physical Therapy, and a lot of other different things. But she is one of my favorite people to listen to when she is explaining our line of Protandim, which to me, I mean, if that's the only reason you're on here tonight is the reason you should be. They are powerhouse products. And we just, we have business rocking and rolling, but I don't think we truly ever appreciate or forget to appreciate how great these products are. And over time, more and more is just being discovered. So, Kellie, we're just so excited. I'm going to have to look for your podcast. I didn't know you had a podcast. So I'm going to have to look
Yes,
for
please,
that.
please subscribe. Love all the new subscribers. That would be great, you guys.
But you and Arthur are just a powerhouse couple. We're excited that you're here and that you're sharing. And I'm going to let you take it away. Just tell me whenever you want me to click, and we will move ahead.
Perfect, perfect, you guys. Well, I wanted to start and kind of give an overview so that it could lead into why the Protandim line is so powerful and so unique. And it just so happened, it literally in the car ride going to Erica and Jesse Dale's house, I was on quickly with an old friend that I got to meet over Thanksgiving that I had said, hey, if health is important to you, we need to catch up. And that's literally all I said. And in a 10-minute conversation in the car ride, literally he sends me his credit card and his phone number and just says, I already take a bunch of stuff, but I believe you. I just want to add Protandim, so do it for me, please. Um, but it's so powerful. And we used to build this business only on Protandim. And today we have so many other shiny objects that we sometimes get overwhelmed. So let's bring it back to why Protandim is so special and why we're here. And then you can partner it and pair it with so many other of our amazing products. But in the world today, our bodies are being hijacked. So if you look at your parents or your grandparents, they lived in a day and age that is completely different of where we are today. And therefore, our bodies are under attack 24/7 with distractions, first and foremost, which cause physical, emotional, biochemical. We've got toxins, we've got EMFs, we've got allergies, pollutants. We have so much in the world that our poor bodies are like, how do I help? How do I heal this? How do I do this? And eventually it just starts saying like, I can't hold it all together. I can't handle all of this attack. And that's where we come in. And unlike supplementation that has been filling the gap, if you live in a place that's cold and there's a lot of potholes in the roads, really those nutritional deficiencies, people are filling the potholes with supplementation. And I want you to understand that LifeVantage is in a whole nother category that you can call it nutrigenomics, you can call it we're biohacking. Just know you are taking control of your own biology. So I get in a lot of conversations with people to say, but I'm already taking XYZ. And I never want to get in a comparison of what they're taking versus Protandim because they're taking supplements. We are taking activating nutrigenomic products. So we're going to take control of our own biology. We're going to optimize our own genetic potential, right? We're going to become the best version of ourselves using nutrigenomics. And in a simple term, it is just the research of how nutrients and natural compounds affect our genes. So we'll go move forward from there, April. So I wanted to set the stage a little bit. I'm 53. So I've passed the age of 40 when after the age of 40, your risk of death from chronic disease doubles every 8 years. That's many of us, and many of us are way past 40. And if you can look on the screen, whether it's cardiovascular disease, diabetes, stroke, COPD, neurologic disorders, Once you hit 40, it starts to dramatically incline with age-related chronic diseases. So we're not just talking about like, oh, what will I feel tomorrow? No, we're talking about we can help you prevent your risk of these chronic diseases. And it's just the fact the body was not designed to live basically past 50. Years ago, that's just not how we were designed. So moving forward, if we look at the next slide, these are the hallmarks of aging. If we can address the hallmarks of aging by slowing it down, and if we slow down aging, we slow down disease. And if we slow down disease, we can delay human death. And I think we all want a longer health span, right, in our life. A health span versus a lifespan. So just briefly look over here on the left. On the left, the very first on the top is typical, without any medications, without anything. You start the aging process. By the time you're 65, wow, you have some aging intervention starting to happen. So then you start looking at the second one down, and at that age of 65, it's like most people by then have had medical interventions. And I believe in the world today, most people probably by 50 are having some sort of drugs, meaning medical interventions. And all they're doing is slowing down death. That is all they're doing. But if you could think of, wow, if we could put in anti-aging interventions early on, maybe somewhere in our 40s, maybe we could live till 80-ish before we're needing medical interventions. But what I want you to really look at now is look at the right-hand side. The question is, what if we could intervene earlier in life with more anti-aging interventions? So we have now in our hands Protandim Nrf2, Nrf1, and NAD. If we get this in people's bodies, so whether in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, right, we're getting it in their bodies, they can stay healthy way until the hundreds. And then, and only then, might you need a medical intervention, but then you only are living your life under medical interventions for a couple years before you die. I think we would all agree. We want to live a long life healthy and a very, very short life not feeling well, right? But on the left side of the screen, you're living a big chunk of your life not well. And that's what we have our hands on is we can help people decrease those age-related diseases. So let's move forward to the next slide. You guys, what we're talking about is not Bob and April. It's not Kelly. This is from the universities around the United States and actually around the world that have studied Protandim Nrf2, all given their seal of approval and said, this is groundbreaking research that is helping us fight age-related diseases. So let's get into what we're talking about tonight. We are introducing the Protandim series, which is the Protandim Tri-Synergizer. There are 3 separate products. It can get a little confusing because they all look like they're in a blue bottle and they all say Protandim. But we're going to talk about each one specifically tonight. So we're going to start with our hero product. Why LifeVantage is here is Protandim Nrf2 Synergizer. I'm going to do a little overview, mini science, and then I'm going to give you like the easy version of what each of these are because what I've learned is we want the science in our back pocket because the science is what gives us the mindset to believe so heavily in these products. I tell every single person, this is something that is non-negotiable you need in your life, right? I am so bulletproof, but I'm not going to tell them all of these scientific things. I'm going to tell them like the easy button of yes. But you guys need to know a little bit more science. This is based on 5 herbal ingredients, which you can see, right? Turmeric, ashwagandha, milk thistle, bacopa, green tea. I want you to remember this. If somebody says, no problem, I'm already taking green tea and turmeric and maybe ashwagandha, say, that's amazing. That means health is important to you. But we have something different. You're taking them all as supplements that are filling a gap. They're filling the potholes. In activation, we're creating new roads. We're creating new pathways. And as you can see, these 5 ingredients are now regulating over 500 survival genes. That's what my friend on the phone wanted to know. He says, is it like this? Is it like that? I said, no, it's like no other. There's no other product that is the master switch of these survival genes. And whether you're talking about your own body's detoxification, whether you're talking about your body's ability to fight inflammation, whether you're talking about your body's ability to make antioxidants, what this is so special that there isn't a product out there in the market that can do what this does. So, yes, it slows down aging by increasing the body's antioxidant production. It's going to help the cells rejuvenate. This is really critical is by inducing our own body's ability to make antioxidants instead of a 1-to-1 ratio we're going to see in a second. We're now going to neutralize or fight them off at 1,000,000 to 1 per second every second. What you really need to know about this one slide is that next statement that it says it lowers oxidative stress by an average of 40% in 30 days in 100% of people. If people say, what's the takeaway? What is this? That's what you want to be able to memorize is this lowers oxidative stress by an average of 40% in 30 days and 100% of people. And what does that mean? Because that's all they want to know. What's in it for me, right? They don't really care about that statistic, but what's in it for me is that means that's your cellular insurance that you're going to reduce your risk of chronic disease by 40%. We have car insurance, life insurance, all the insurances, right? This is your cellular insurance. So it's really, really incredible. So as we look at the next slide that you can see, if you look at all those ingredients, it was just this research study was trying to show if you just took each individual ingredient, what would that do in activating the Nrf2 pathway? Well, you guys, some of them activated this a little bit. Some of them on their own actually didn't do anything. But when you put these 5 ingredients together in the exact recipe, the exact blend in this microdosing special recipe that Dr. Joe McCord formulated, it literally hits the jackpot. And that's why in over 20 years, there's been no company or any product that's come out that's even been able to be close to doing what Protandim Nrf2 can do in your body. It is truly a beautiful recipe. So if you look at this next page, I just want you to really, really understand when you're like, what even is oxidative stress? I don't even know what that means. I think we all can see the apple at the bottom. You cut an apple in half, you leave it out on your counter over time, it starts to turn brown. And if you really leave it out over time or it accidentally gets like stuck under a couch or something, it really starts to look terrible. Well, that's what's happening to our cells. Our cells are stuck under the couch. They are getting damaged and therefore they can't operate. And a cell that's not well leads to disease. Therefore, we need to fix the cell. So this is exactly the example of the antioxidants when people say, but I already take turmeric, but I already eat, take green tea and I eat my blueberries and my broccoli. They're just fixing the potholes. That's all. One good guy, one free radical fights one bad guy, and that equation is done. But if we have trillions of free radicals, that avenue will never get us to be well. If that avenue got us to be well, I mean, my gosh, you guys, 87% of the US take supplements. So everybody would be much more well if that solved it. It doesn't. You take Protandim Nrf2, it turns on your own body to fight those antioxidants at 1,000,000 to 1 per second, every single second. So you just need to be able to tell somebody that it reduces that oxidative stress by an average of 40% in 30 days, and there's no other anti-aging product or supplement that can come close. All I know is I would love to have my blood. I might not want to be 20 anymore. I don't know, April, right? You don't probably want to be 20, but we want the blood of us when our 20 to be that healthy. Yep. And that's what people can have their hands on is literally by taking Protandim Nrf2. So if we look at the next slide, I want you guys to think in your mind that here we are lowering oxidative stress, lowering your risk of disease, and we take it to make it. So if we can look at the next slide, April, that one didn't move forward, is I want you to also know this came from Washington State University. And so if you get distracted with life, you need to come back to this statement over and over and over that Nrf2, right? Protandim, Nrf2 we're talking about. So Nrf2 may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic, a most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. This is from Washington State University. So, no matter what people say, tonight, all these people were asking me about this and this and this and this. I said, I'm not going to debate the fact that that's a good supplement and science is changing. But Nrf2 is the best way, is the number one way that you can help prevent any sort of health related aging process in the future. So, to make it simple, as LifeVantage is, in the phrase take it to make it, Protandim Nrf2 takes out the trash, takes out the bad stuff, right? So, we take Nrf2 to get our body to make antioxidants. I love that, although I do think it's too simple because Nrf2 is actually so much more than just making antioxidants. But to make people understand, like, what is it? Oh, you take it to make it. You no longer need to take your antioxidants because we can make our antioxidants, which you guys in the chat throw out there instead of a 1-to-1 ratio. When we make it ourselves, what ratio is that? I hope everybody's writing in the chat, right? Like 1,000,000 to 1, not 1-to-1, but 1,000,000 to 1 because we take it to make it. So that's what's really, really beautiful. So let's talk about Nrf1 and let's talk about NAD. Protandim Nrf1 came along as the next protandim activator, and this boosts our body's mitochondria. And again, you don't get weighed down with the science. Mitochondria is what creates the ATP, the energy factor. We have so much mitochondria in our body, it has its own DNA, but that is what gives every cell, every system, every organ the energy to do its job. So we need this energy production. So people are like, oh my God, I'm just so sluggish, I'm not feeling well. Yeah, sometimes it's a brain energy, sometimes it's a body energy. When it's the body energy, it's coming from your mitochondria, which again, as we're getting older, just starts to decline. These are the ingredients. They are small doses in combination, in synergy that activate our body to make bigger, stronger mitochondria. So let's look at the next slide of what more mitochondria looks like. This is what mitochondrial dysfunction looks like. This means as we're aging, we hit 25-ish and we are aging. When the mitochondria can't work well, that may lead to diseases of cerebral palsy, Parkinson's, epilepsy, autism, cardiomyopathy, mitochondrial disease, muscular dystrophy. Like, look at all these, you guys. I'm sure you know somebody with fibromyalgia, diabetes, chronic fatigue. Nobody wants any of these. So when we know that we can reduce people's risk, and especially if you're looking in that circle of orange, like who Alzheimer's is real and true. And I think there's not a one of us that hasn't had a time where like, where did we put our keys? Where did I file this? I put it somewhere and I knew specifically where I put it. And now where is it, right? It's there. And if we don't protect ourselves, what we do today is going to show up in 20 years from now. So this mitochondrial dysfunction really works so well with the giving our cells energy to do its job. So in the take it to make it fashion of LifeVantage, we're going to create healthy mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. We take Nrf1 to make energy, to make cellular energy. And that's all you guys need to know. So we can double down with Protandim Nrf2 and Nrf1, or we can triple down, you guys, with adding Protandim NAD. So when we look at NAD, NAD is a very hot topic. A lot of people are talking about NAD. So as we move to the next slide, April, it really shows you guys, this is our NAD. Again, you don't need to memorize all of this because it's in your back office. It's on your app that, yes, you have, right? Wasabi and olive leaf and theacrine and cuprous niacin. NAD, our NAD is very powerful. And I'm going to show you why it's so unique and different because it's an activator versus any other product. I'm only putting this on here for a graphic. You do not need to know this biochemical conversion, okay? But what you need to know is in the body has to convert things into NAD. We've got NR. There are supplements out there called NR. There are supplements out there called NMN. We need those because they're precursors to make NAD. But in those blue arrows, those are rate limiting steps. And any other product that's out there that's a precursor, because of those rate limiting steps, you're only getting like 2, 4, 8% conversion to NAD. But LifeVantage is different. So on the next slide, you can see because we activate our Protandim NAD gets rid of those rate limiting steps. It opens up the gates and converts. The body converts NR to MNN into NAD. So we can create NAD and upregulate it by 100% in 24 hours because there's no other product that activates to get rid of that step, that rate limiting step. So Protandim NAD, it's a little bit complicated. It turns on this family of sirtuins. It protects our NAD, our DNA for repair. But you just need to know it's the conductor of the cells. And if you take NAD, you are going to make better health span. Guaranteed. It's all about your telomeres and the length of your telomeres. But just know you're going to get a better health span with NAD. And when you take all three together, this is what's really exciting, right? You take all three of this Protandim Tri-Synergizer. I want you to look at this next slide, and this is what's profound. When people say, do I really need to take it all? Should I take one or two? And I show them this, and I say, listen, when you take one, it activates the genes for that specific product. But when you put them together, there is a synergy. And what I want you guys to look at is the second grouping of genes. So if you look at those blue bars, the one that's the highest, right, all the way through the letter T and stacked together, that gene is your healthy inflammatory response. Everybody knows that inflammation is the big baddie. Do we agree? Like, who knows inflammation is the big baddie?
Yep,
Yes, in the chat,
yep.
like, yes. So if you really want to reduce inflammation, you can take Protandim Nrf2, and that's going to upregulate your body's healthy inflammatory response by 51%. But when you take all three in the Protandim Tri-Synergizer, that one gene is now upregulated by 848%. Like, mind blowing. So I tell people it's up to you. Like, you can spend a little, like $60 or spend 150 and get all these added benefits. That's up to you. But together, that's what LifeVantage I love is they don't just make each separate product. They look at products and how they work together. So in the last slide, you guys, I'll just, really conclude with is you can take the Tri-Synergizer, you've got bottles or you've got the cute little packets, or typically, this is just me, talk with Bob and April. I usually do not start somebody off taking the Tri-Synergizer, or if I do, I say hold off on NAD to start. NAD can be very powerful. And together, by upregulating all those genes at once, some people, if they're aging, if they're sick, if they have sensitivities, they need to work up to that NAD in combination. So the other thing I don't think we talk enough about is the vitality stack, which is your Protandim Nrf2, Nrf1, and you get your omega and you get a probiotic. If somebody wants to walk out the door and spend about $150 on all four of those products, maybe it's now 170 or 80, that is a home run. You can't lose either way you go in the Tri-Synergizer or getting the vitality stack. So cellular health, right? A healthy cell leads to healthy organs, leads to healthy human, leads to us being healthy. So we cannot forget the power behind it. And as you move into Protandim and mind body, Protandim and P84, Protandim and collagen, there's synergies with all of them. Just do not ever forget about the other Protandim products because they're really, really profound. So April, I hope
Thank
that was really
you.
helpful for
Thank you.
people, and yeah, gave them an overview of the
Uh-huh.
of those Protandim family.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. You are always